They have so much that could be carried by strong solo lanes earlier.
And so many tasty options for MLXG to gank, even mid lane with Ryze and Jarvan. We saw a mid lane focus last game. It's possible here, but swinging top lane or bot lane, there are 3 options. However, you see the Soraka on the side of RNG. You expect that SKT will try to play around bot side.
Well, speaking of bot side, though, I think there's a couple of important things to think about here. You talk about a sped-up Kog'Maw, getting Whimsy, getting the shield, getting Ardent Sensor, slowed down permanently by a Rumble Ultimate, shot at from long range by the extended reach of Twitch Ultimate here out of Uzi. It might be hard, even though you have a Lulu and Gragas and Galio, to just be a Kog'Maw against RNG's composition. Depending on execution, it always depends on this. Bang might not get to do much in a team fight.
That's exactly why I like that last pick, Rumble. Not only can you go into the Gnar and try and make that arms race for the first item, but also making Kog'Maw move in team fights rather than auto attack during the W cooldown.
Really important thing to point right here, Bang actually did go Storm Raider Surge on Kog'Maw. I think it is by far the best team fighting Keystone choice. With the slower distance, he can actually get through that Rumble Ultimate.
Exactly. That's why we put so much emphasis on speed, because you want to abuse that W cooldown for Kog'Maw, and that's why Lulu's such a good combination. You can make the offensive plays during that heightened time of power.
And this is the time to shine above all else. If there was ever a game for RNG to win in the career of their team, it is this one right now. 2-1 up against the defending world champions. The dynasty of SKT, the team that could almost never be truly dethroned. And maybe RNG can do it here.
Dynasty may not end with a loss here, but the Odyssey would. You know, the short-term story would end. It would be the end of that undefeated streak. So that's why you hear so much quiet around the crowd. They know they may be seeing history in the making.
Exactly. Even the possibility of SKT getting knocked out this early would be such a huge part of history. The continued dominance of SK Telecom is something to marvel at. Multiple years here, different patches, different metas, different competitors. They've overcome them all in the past. But now they face a new one.
It's going to be fun to watch for just how they can do. SKT's back's against the wall. They know this is the moment that they must seize. And actually going to get a red buff leash pretty easily out from Let Me. We'll see pretty similar stuff for Peanut on his own red side.
I want to talk a bit about the draft from SKT. It still has the spirit of some of the previous drafts, as Uzi had a ward on the red, and at least try and harass down this Raptor start. Denying the super leash here, RNG.
Best they can, and looks like none of them got stolen away. Just the one small Raptor towards Faker himself. Peanut still going to be easily able to grab this red buff and level up pretty much on pace.
And, you know, whenever that happens, even by accident, you have to talk about the experience gain in mid lane and being able to hit level 2 earlier. MLXG, though, as we talked about on Jarvan, Papa Smithy, going for a very early play here.
Peanut had to use Flash because of the low patience meter on the red buff. So he's actually, so he used Smite, on the red buff. So it's down right now, and MSG's smelling blood at the blue buff.
I think he does see Peanut, goes for the knockup, finds some damage. Red buff on me, he got some damage output. Peanut running towards the blast code, going to stay alive on this. MLXG able to smite away and take one of the wolves. Takes number 2, takes number 3, gets an entire camp away.
Wonderful multi-step invasion plan, denying the super leash by contesting the Raptors, and also, with the smite being forced, counter jungle.
Not only does he take away a camp, not only does he get to counter jungle, but he secures the top half of the map for Let Me on this Rumble. Gnar into Rumble is notoriously easily swung by junglers, and could be an area of focus for him to kind of isolate this issue.
It does bring some safety here, but it does mean, though, that Peanut is on the bot side, and Big and Uzi should give them a little bit of respect right here. Looking at their wards early on, they don't have just more than a single river ward here.
See Jarvan actually pathing through mid, trying to get onto the blue, already confirmed by Peanut. They want to try and catch him, and he's gone for the steal.
King is here, not going to land the slow, but does block the bot in for a few seconds, but watch out, the rest of the squad is here. Peanut gets out safely.
Again, smart move here from Peanut to go towards the bottom lane that doesn't have crowd control. He doesn't want to walk through the Dragon Pit. He doesn't want to go anywhere towards upriver, moves immediately into the Soraka, so ends up not even having to blow his flash and gets away with that blue buff trade.
Now, keeping track of the junglers, MLXG has taken one extra camp. He got the entire Wolf camp and the blue buff. Peanut only stole the blue, so there was less farm available to the SKT.
And it's also the control freak. It's also that they're deciding where the game is being played. They're allowing Rumble to overextend and get his first item, at least get safe CS on the top side, and not have to worry about Gnar potentially being able to take his sort of lane control. And on the bot side, they end the vertical jungling early to also provide coverage for the Soraka.
Exactly. Early game control, early game vision is such a step-by-step snowballing process that now it affords Letme the easy access there up into the jungle, and he'll again have deep vision on his side.
Here we go, looking back at the state of the game right here. Only 100 difference. That's pretty much what a jungle camp is worth, so no surprise that's the mark. We're seeing bot lane trade equal, mid lane similarly, top also. Letme gonna be, looks like, receiving the wave shortly. And actually not able to kill the ward, but does spot Faker, and of course Faker can easily mess with the Raptor camp. Q on cooldown, pulls it away.
And a common trend for Faker to at least invade top side to try and get pressure and information for Huni in particular. This time it won't be a gank attempt onto the Rumble, but at least lets them know where MLXG is at. And they actually invest a pink ward, a control ward here, to try and add that extra bit of doubt to Gnar as he starts to overextend naturally in the Gnar versus Rumble matchup.
Meanwhile, while they have vision of MLXG on the top side, Peanut is working on the bottom half of the map, and he's zoning off Uzi and MLX. Oh, they've actually cut him off.
Spotted again. Here comes the damage up, and aggro pulled right there. They're going to get a bit of damage across. A couple of summoners burned, but Wolf forces a flash away. 2 summoners on each side use the defensive ones for RNG, and the flash out from Wolf.
They're on vision very smartly there. They had 2 wards in the blue side jungle, knew there was no chance that Jarvan would be on that side, weren't able to pick up the kill.
And the punishment is MLXG takes away 1 or 2 more camps, got 2/3 the Wolves, getting the crop the first time around. Peanut might just repeat his attempt here, and remember, no barrier or heal left now.
There is a teleport for Rumble, but that would be the only assistance that would be able to join this bottom lane. Uzi and Ming just focusing on that minion wave to try and clear out any possibility of a dive.
And because it's been trading down, not picking up camps, it's actually going to be level 5, I believe, from MLXG, either from the Scuttle Crab or just after. Yeah. So the price of making all those repeated ganks with no actual kill involved and even losing both summoners on Wolf is pretty severe for the Brothers.
And Uzi's getting away with a pretty greedy opening. Yes, he's down a little bit in farm, but he went for the Relic Shield start versus the Doran Shield of Bang right here. So doing a pretty good job of just further shoving Ming ahead, giving him an extra farm, and the power spike probably comes in first for the RNG bot lane as a result.
MLXG has tried to set the pace of this game with the assistance of his team, and largely it has worked out. Peanut has been corralled into only making plays around a Relic Shield, Twitch and Soraka that clearly are looking for a non-interactive lane. So the pressure game is being dictated by RNG, which is a great start for them.
Exactly, it's a bottom lane that is expecting his presence. They've corralled him is a perfect word, as there's only a small area of Peanut's jungle that is not covered by RNG vision. The snowballing effect, that domino effect we talk about of the vision, has continually been replaced by RNG as each ward expires.
We've seen Letme several times walk down into that jungle, put the wards down, get rid of blast ones if he sees them. MLXG doing the same thing. I mean, really smart setups right here to punish some of the moves of SKT, red buffs, and the like respawning as Peanut 5 on his way to 6.
And the coolest thing is it all came from the level 1. They got control over topside because they invaded first the Super Leash and also forced a smite out of Peanut given the timings. Then they controlled topside, and Rumble being able to push out of lane and ward is not commonplace in the Gnar versus Rumble matchup. So it was all designed pre-game and executed beautifully by RNG.
So much of the next few minutes of this game will be determined by those solo laners as well. Top laners have not gone back for a purchase yet, even though teleports are available. If you think of Rumble level 6 ultimate, you know, could be a huge game changer for a bottom lane fight. Those will be coming to play without those purchases.
It's true. So far, the top laners pretty poor, haven't gone back yet. TP, of course, a vitally important cooldown now. Can't be used to go back to lane anymore without giving up a ton of map pressure. RNG actually get to see 1 ward for themselves. The first one barely missed it, but looking again at the chance of an invade, they know the blue buff is up, and once again, they're going for the steal. Peanut is around, he's got the vision on it as well. Does he get the smite? No, MLXG grabs it. could not hand it over to Xiao, who he would have been outsmited by Peanut.
And again, Let Me has lane control, would have had first roam on the Rumble and the long range of the Equalizer, even if something like the Hero's Entrance was infested. So the timing was perfect by RNG.
And this continued invasion here from RNG is so much about limiting the options for Peanut. So they know that all he has left now is a cross map over to their own blue, which is protected by a Scuttle Crab. Currently, he's making his way in there, but it's so dangerous that he has to make the early game work here. He gets the Scuttle Crab first, so a possible speed boost if he has to make a hasty exit.
All right, and TP goes to lane for Mahoney, so if there is a skirmish on the bot side, he is not able to join. They're relying on Faker to tip that balance to the mid side then.
Exactly as we talked about. RNG, he's playing right into their hand. They know they limited his options so heavily that this is the only one, and they have the Rise in the mid lane. They have Xiao, who's been retaining that mid lane control. That means he'll also retain control of blue buff, which then is going to be able to snowball into more. Oh, never mind.
He was going to die to red. He put in one too many autos, and he knew it was going to time out. He said, sorry, Xiao, I screwed it up. He gets some honey fruit, but it's just not as good. The crowd knows. You hear the murmurs. MLXG, this was the game. You denied a blue from Rise.
Well, he's trying to use it to good use. Comes into a control wall. It's not spotted yet, but good bot lane sense by Bang & Wolf.
He's coming down through and doing good damage. One more auto. He'll get Storm Raiders running a bit fast, and MLXG turned back to dodge some. There's an ulti for wave clear, it looked like. That was a little strange out of Let Me. Seemed a bit strange. Maybe he had smart cast on, didn't realize it, but seemed out of place. A Smite gets rid of some of the Krugs, and MLXG continues to take some of the camps away from Peanut. Retains that one double lead.
SKT clearly opting into longer laning phase. It was a late call coming through from Hooney around 8 minutes, so happy to continue going. Texture of the comp is different with the comp more Lulu, so more trust in the late game damage.
This elimination game has been the calmest early game we have had all series long here. We haven't even seen Faker on Cali, who's been roaming constantly in all of the other games. Make side lane moves. Xiaolu here on the rise has kept him in place, at least for the time being.
Well, here comes the attempt in the mid lane. Xiao cutting around the flash to rejoin. Here's the ulti to find some damage on a Faker. Jumps right back out, knows it's not a fight they can win. RNG down a flash for that play though.
Seemed unnecessary from MLXG. There wasn't going to be kill pressure there. Decided to invest everything, flash and ultimate, to make something happen. SKT walk away. They trade up in terms of summoners.
Yeah, MLXG thought there was going to be a more commitment from SKT than there was there. See if this does come back to haunt them, because those summoner spells for that duo have been incredibly important. Now he's half health, walking down and chasing Peanut out of his own jungle.
Fight for the Grump. Smite won by Peanut. Fight comes in. RNG is here. No sounds to be had. The knockup is over. But overall he goes. Finds his body slam. Explosive cast back into the squad. But look at that from MLXG. The flag and drag perfectly buffered to get back to safety.
No ultimate meant they couldn't lock down. That's why things went longer. If that cooldown was up, maybe things are different. He gets out. But SKT, for the first time, have a bit of a nose ahead when it comes to the jungle matchup.
Baker also, completes his recall during that invade, so they were not planning on diving in there. Here we go, Hoodie with the trade on to Let Me. Significant.
Pretty solid damage. The shield comes back in, and once again, an ulti for wave clear. I was told, just like the last one, it has been wave clear equalized for Let Me, doing just that to the farm.
Means the turret HP is more and more likely to stay high, so at the end of the day, doing his best to keep the turret up.
Service minions.
Big assist coming through his mid lane.
Ooh, big knockup there for Faker. Now in a 1v2, pulls in the taunt, does not get the knockup. Good shoot there. And here comes Peanut around the wings. They've got to be a bit careful. Double body slam, a bit of a slow, and here comes Hero's entrance. Wish! Just the health bar, they walk away anyway.
Well, everybody's been on the receiving end of an annoying Soraka ultimate before. Maybe we'll see SKT prioritize some grievous wounds early on, because Ming and this Soraka pick have been so big for RNG at this Worlds tournament, and it can be answered.
They see the grand entrance be used, and that's why they feel like they can go on the front foot, try to contest the red buff here from Peanut.
Good smite. Peanut actually doing a really good job with these smite fights. I think he's won every straight-up duel that's been available to him. Sometimes he's been down, but otherwise a pretty good job. Pharaoh gets a bit more, and maybe looking for the play here. Faker has the taunt ready. This could be the first kill of the game. The knockups continue on. MLXG goes to the knockup, and there are no more spells to land. A couple of getting himself a right at first blood in an exciting game.
decision to put down the Winds of War. Ran out of mana, they ran out of damage, and actually, Peanut falls.
Again, the mid lane jungle, 2 versus 2. So critical in this early game. First blood and so much control going over to RNG.
The decision to go back in with the Cataclysm, low health, realizing in the moment that SKT did not have the damage to pick up the kill. We're going to see the replay. Faker starts this with 1 spell's worth of mana, and that ends up being the big crux for SKT not being able to pick up the kill.
They saw the low health Jarvan. They wanted to punish his flashless body here, but he's able to position the flag and get on the other side, so also getting the knockup and buying Xiaohu time to finish off Peanut.
Big deal right there. 1,400 gold now, the lead for Royal Never Give Up. Certain of that Turkey of Relic Shield, it's earned about 575 so far, so you can say half the gold lead is the Relic Shield start, but if it works, it works. RNG, Ardent Sensor available in the bot lane, is similar for SKT. Once again, the fight for blue buff. MLXG wants it for himself. Who's going to win? Once again, it's Peanut.
Look how bold MLXG is now. I mean, he's invading. His mid laner was walking past his first turret at that point. Faker channeling the recall, and SKT are giving up so much control.
I mean, Faker was greedy. He hadn't backed ever since they were unable to pick up the kill. In lane with less than 1 rotation's worth of mana, less than 1 spell's worth of mana. Great timing, and now that's both buffs contested, even if the smites have been true from Peanut.
We keep seeing a still fairly controlled game. Most of the other lanes, though, top and bot lane, just splitting farm back and forth. We had seen some interesting fights, but none of them turned into kills. Junglers had yet to actually join those fights yet. Cloud Drake available, tends to be a slow one killed. We're thrilled now for Xiaohu.
Level 11 hit on Let Me. Right now, Equalizer not up, but soon will be. And also, the Abyssal Mask is so clean here, as it will also buff up the damage from Let Me. BF Sword towards an Infinity Edge. 2 items on Uzi. I can tell you one thing, RNG will be looking for any fight they can get, because it's so hard for SKT to win one.
Well, SKT right now, everybody piling up through the river to try and support this mid lane push. That now MLXG finds himself sandwiched in between 2 opposing members and should be able to slide his way out. But you bring up this point, right? There's not much time left before Bang is able to convert all these pieces into the Rage Blade.
Yeah.
And we bring it back to SK Telecom's view of this match. So much of their faith has been put in the bottom lane. Bang and Wolf has been up and down this tournament. They have not always been deserving of that faith. Yet this game, in the elimination game, the Kog'Maw Lulu will be coming online soon.
300 gold is the clip he needs until he can afford the blade. The Rage Blade combined. Here comes the gank to the bot side. The join to be here. Nope, he's going to get away from that one. The TP canceled as well. Let Me saved his. Faker on a cancel, losing a bit of that cooldown. Realm Wolf, of course, the same kind of situation. And back they go to their respective lanes.
Realm Wolf abandoned, didn't need to take it through, realized the gank wasn't going to come off, and they got the summon and spell trade. With the teleport going down, so advantage there for the side of RNG. MLXG has spent the best part of the last 3 minutes in this brush.
Not quite the knock up there, Faker walking away, and yeah, the shield's simply too good. He's got that magic with his stack, and Cinderhulk gonna rise, not gonna really get through that. The pressure on the bot side, 3 versus 2. How much does Uzi have to be afraid of this? Hit another heal. It's been a bit more, heals back up with the auto attacks. Keep the turret alive a little bit longer, but it is slowly getting whittled down. Bang now actually does have Rage Blade money. At a certain point, he just wants to recall for the power spike itself.
Want a lot of people to realize, in a lot of these games we've seen with the Kog'Maw bot lane or the just one of the Rage Blade carries bot lane have involved a tank top who will teleport behind as Galio comes in and force a faster turret from going down, a first blood turret in the bot lane. Because SKT have not played top lane tanks outside of Maokai in game 1 of the entire Worlds, they don't have a setup for this. Huni has been focused on lane regardless of pick this entire series, and that's why these first blood turrets are so late. It's 18 minutes in, and the Relic Shield Twitch is pretty comfortable bot lane.
A couple of nice skill shots there, but you're seeing the fruit start to bear. You're seeing Huni get the push going, and This might just be it. Yes, the team is coming across. Huni gonna walk away. Realm Warp gets Xiaohu behind, and suddenly Huni in a 1v4. Landings into Rune Press, into silence, into the root. There's no way out just yet. The attack's still coming through. Huni has the flash, won't use it. Uzi finds kill number 2 of the game.
RNG call for the lane swap to move Uzi and Ming up to the top side. But again, Xiaohu has been so big for this team, especially in the early game.
And the game is never being fought in the pre-match game plan for SKT. They were ready to make that turret dive, ice down the first turret blood, and get more. RNG read that, go topside, gets the Rift Herald on the back of it as well. They gain tempo, even though they're lane swapping first. Really impressive stuff from RNG, and Huni, he didn't read the play.
One of the plays that you can get a Rumble is prevent that 2-for-2 trade. He completely stymies the bot lane push continuing. That tier 2 turret's going to be safe. It will be a turret trade. First one did go to SKT, meaning that gold lead, the extra 350 for that, of course, is theirs. Countered by the kill they got, of course, on a Huni, and we stay in a 1,000 gold difference game. This Kog'Maw has not been stopped. He has highest farm on the team, and he's going for turret number 2 now.
But meanwhile, RNG have the Rift Herald in their topside push. It looks like they're not willing to use it though, and SK Telecom will come out with a 2-for-1 turret trade there, in addition to getting the first turret bonus.
Makes you wonder if the Baron spawning in 30 seconds and creating something like they did in Game 3, the next level Rift Herald play is something they're considering.
Definitely a possibility, especially since it's so early in the game that previous Baron vision has not been placed on this side of the map. You know, RNG are the ones with supreme vision control in this blue quadrant, and SKT are starting up the Cloud Drake.
Doing the last they can on the bottom of the map before that Baron spawns. And here we go, a knock-a-thorn on Huni. He's still got the flash, but he's silenced. Inside the pit, finally jumps out, and Faker rejoins the play. As the Cloud Drake falls, it's Faker's turn to run away, but he's not taking much meaningful damage. Jumps into a wall and walks away in his magic damage shield, blocking most of it anyway. Stays just fine on this. No Infinity Edge for Uzi means he's not the scary team fighter yet. He's got the gold to go still until he gets to that point. Tied game in gold now because of that bot lane tier 2 falling. Xiaohu wants to rejoin the mid lane.
Rumble ultimate on cooldown for this wave, so he can clear this one out, but it's coming up soon. And speaking of AD carries the fear, Bang goes very deep.
The power spike is in. Rage play plus Ardent Sensor and Lulu giving him the buffs. He can single-handedly push champions away. That is what Juggernaut is about. The name of that famed Kog'Maw Lulu combo. You can be the frontliner, push the team away. They knew Faker could protect him.
Certainly worked out in that particular area, so you wonder again why the Rift Herald wasn't used to cement SKT needing to be in full defensive formation around the inner bot lane turret. We will find out in the next minute or so as the duration starts to tick down. MLXG was able, and RNG together were able to monopolize vision around the blue side. The Baron threat is there, but they have to actually find a way to get the lanes back in position to actually make that a possibility.
Kobe, how much did it hurt you to see MLXG fully leash the red buff down to 1 HP and then be like, my AD carry's not coming, and have to walk away and give it out?
Time
Painful.
wasted for a jungler is definitely one of the most painful things to observe, but it's definitely worth it for RNG. Uzi does have his Infinity Edge.
Yeah.
You know, the basic crit multipliers are there for him, and a red buff to boot. There's so much riding on this. Will the Jarvan and Rumble dive be enough to kind of mitigate the Kog'Maw damage by means of making him move during the W?
I think getting a summoner out of Bang would start to answer that question.
Dive. All right, good buffs out of Lulu, keep him safe. I like how Wolf's out of range and out of sight for a lot of that. Nice attempt, though.
Yeah, summoners down on Bang, and I think Team 5 victory you ink in for the side of RNG with Infinity Edge and Hurricane already complete, but pressuring out those summoners is difficult to do. RNG's playstyle, especially with Twitch, has been pushing out a minion wave with Uzi and then having him back away and threaten that he's roaming around the map. They're not usually consistently trying to take down the early turrets. That means that the game can extend through this sort of move.
Itemization always is so important as well with compositions like SKT are running. If so much faith has been put in Bang, every purchase is incredibly important. And we mentioned the double AP solo laners and the power that they can bring to these mid-game fights. So Bang has actually gone for that second item Wit's End, which to me always shouts the defensive proponent part of that item, right? The defensive purposes there are for stacking up that magic resist so that he doesn't have to worry as much about the Rumble ultimate damage, about that Rise damage. However, it means that, you know, it is going to be up to him to walk away from the Uzi engages that we just saw before.
It does delay the Hurricane, which is usually that big 2-item spike, and maybe important is
Gonna find out who needs red buff. Slow's gonna make it nice. His flash already down from before his hop, you imagine, was, but okay, at least it's still Summoner's Burn. Nice play by RNG.
But given that the Hurricane's mostly about taking down tanks, not as high value, he'll get it eventually. But I think going for the extra magic resistance shred is probably smartest. Here we
The
go.
flash forward, they catch them both in. Flash for 2. That's a good trade, and RNG get mid lane.
A great trade right there as MLXG goes in with the Flash ultimate. And now everybody's very well aware this Kog'Maw and Lulu combo will be sitting ducks.
And guess what RNG take from that? We have about 4 minutes to actually start Baron, turn, and Equalizer and the Jarvan Cataclysm will do the rest of the work. This is definitely the alarm sounding for SKT. No summoners on Bang. They need to find a way to keep wrestling for Baron control, because that's what RNG want right now.
I do want to correct myself. It was also a Ming flash. They tried to go for Cataclysm Silence to prevent the way out entirely. We saw that sort of similarly out of Cloud. Now with a Singe pick, the grounding can be similar, but the Soraka Silence, of course, also turns off flashes. Either way, it was still 2 for 3 summoners as Wolf burned his heal for movement speed. But as you're mentioning, again, no way out of Cataclysm now for Bang. Once that ability comes back from cooldown, MLXG can guarantee the trap on the SKT AD carry.
The groundwork has been laid for this next team fight. This could be so critical as we see all of these control wards from RNG kind of up and down the river. But SK Telecom have been playing very defensively, not really presenting that opportunity. They know that Uzi's lurking around here as the camouflage twitch, just waiting to open up.
Pushing out 1 minion away, backing away, teleport very
they're going
aggressively.
Now jumping in, looking for the slow TP coming around the wings as well. This could be the fight. And let's be back on the other side. He's going to find a face and a faker. Head points getting dropped lower and lower, time to back in, but Bang's W on cooldown means he can't get the auto attacks. Peanut now rejoining. Could go for the cast, is going to knock him right back in. MLXG gets him to the wall, though, and Wish keeps him safe, and he is going to get away. Bang goes for the snipe, not going to land it. A juke out of Jarvan.
Wish is such a huge cooldown for this team, though, that SK Telecom are starting up the Baron.
Deathly injured Jarvan makes it hard to steal away. Uzi does have the ulti though. In comes the team with a flash to get away. They're so afraid of what Hootie can do to them. With the Meganar, Uzi on the wing sequence buys some space, but he gets shot down. The Kog'Maw damage is there, and the chase back in Bang will not be felled. He will find more targets than Xiaohu to lose his life as well. Another one in for Hootie. That's 4 for nothing, SKT.
Kiteback was so big for SKT. Taking down Uzi with the Winds of War was the big factor that could get the huge ult. The Equalizer wasn't enough. The spray and pray not enough, and now they want Baron.
SK Telecom put their faith in Bang, and he stands tall with all of their defenses. Now the Baron will be easily claimed, and SKT once again will pressure.
No one in range to steal a clean smite out of Peanut. And SKT do not back down with their backs against the wall. They do not exit from Worlds early. Looking to make this 2-2 in this series.
So watch this. Faker has only one thing in mind. He wants to peel off and flash onto the enemies. RNG respect a flash taunt. He gets nothing from it. You think, okay, is this the moment? But SKT Bang in the front line, able to just chase down, and they kill Uzi early.
And we get to see displayed right in this critical team fight what we talked about in Champion Select about the power of Lulu Kog'Maw. Uzi flashed away early in that fight, yet a Lulu speed up onto Bang allows him to close that distance without any summoner spell of his own. He just walks up with the red buff and he finds the priority kill.
And normally you can respect Uzi's mechanics in a team fight, moving between auto attack. To a certain point, he only ran in a straight line. Against Storm Raiders Kog'Maw, you do not build distance in any way against Bang's champion, and he's took basically free-firing auto attacks, did not answer back. With how low Bang got in that fight, if Uzi had autoed, it would have at least been a trade kill. Now we are in the situation of SKT in control, 3,500. Let me, unfortunately, the man on your screen has been unable to get much done this game. No participation in anything, only a death in the prior team fight. But Void Staff in, maybe he can find something. Uzi, the primary carries here, but so far it's been Bang doing more of it.
Because we've seen MLXG play through mid lane, he hasn't been going top lane. We've seen Equalizer use basically off cooldown for wave clear to extend the laning phase against the Gnar. He hasn't often been in position for an Equalizer outside of the one that couldn't get the team fight won about 3 minutes ago. So let me, on a different type of champion, hasn't really got the help from his team. That's why the game's kind of happened around the Rumble.
Go for the silence, no room to be had, so Faker getting away with this one. The siege can continue, but they've got to respect what the engage could be. Bang gonna walk up, only a single auto at a time. The respectful with his flash still down of what could be happening. Even still, mid-turret falls 5-2 in turrets.
You can see how helpless RNG are at this point in the game. With Baron buff given over to this such substantial Kog'Maw composition here, the front line beefy and the back line fed.
It's pretty non-interactive, Kobe. Nara is pushing. There's only been 6 kills in 28 minutes. But with the Baron buff, they're going to start threatening here, SKT.
Top of the rise, the re-engage the backside. Do they have the explosive damage they need? The re-engage, but look at the AoE! Shredding everybody! And now Faker forces one with the team suddenly in front of him. He's got nowhere to go! They've surrounded him, and Faker, without a flash, without a prayer, double kill for Uzi!
When they needed the most, the spiciest of hot pots laid down there with the Rumble ultimate over all members of SKT. That took out almost half the team.
That was the clutch play that RNG have been reaching for. It buys them huge control of the map. Huni is still alive, so they cannot push through mid lane and take any objectives there. But they were about to lose their inhibitor against the Baron up SKT, who had to invest almost nothing since the previous fight win. Watch for the layering here. Bang starts the game, this fight with his flash.
MLXG flashes in for the Cataclysm on Kog'Maw, then he knocks him up long enough for the silence to come down, and Rumble ultimate destroys all of the remaining members.
He dies with flash available because, like you say, silenced into the root effect from silence, not able to get out. Bang was the cornerstone of the team. He won in the previous fight, but him dying there meant that SKT fell apart like a pack of cards.
And still a lot to work back from, though. I think the compositions are closely matched, and the gold still 2,500 up for SKT. There's normally the Korean squad who's so good in late game situations and coming back from deficits. RNG still has to make up the issues. You're seeing finally damage come out from Let Me, but double that out of the Twitch. Uzi was on 2.5 items already, and now he's got a Shiv done, so it only gets higher from there.
I mean, without Nara, there was never going to be real threat onto Uzi after the team started kiting backwards and Bang fell down. So, but here on the screen, the teamfight KDAs, it's been close, but RNG have been the team fighting gods of World 2017.
Good sound with what could have been a body slam for a couple of seconds. Teamfight KDA battles, which has at least 4 players from each team. Both these squads have been very good in those large situations. RNG had even better stats coming into this match, but SKT have tested them quite a bit.
And while it is especially the carry members, the backline, that always come out with the best KDAs. You know, Xiaohe and Uzi coming into this had the top 2 of the entire tournament. The frontline setup is so important. And how MLXG was able to buy that time on getting Bang caught long enough. Well, here we go.
They've got himself a little bit explosive cast buys a few more seconds, and now they can find themselves Soraka wish to buy a little bit more. They're going to jump away. Redemption gets some more health as well. That is several ultis down, but not Uzi's. Twitch still has it.
Exactly. And the flash from Uzi is blown, while Bang now on Kog'Maw has his. Such a huge turning point in these team fights are whether the AD carry will live through the initial engagement.
I wonder if Uzi just used ultimate to try to clear this wave. No equalizer available.
Gotta respect the flash out of all the tanks, though. Huni can do it, so can Faker. Gotta respect it. He's not gonna go in just yet. Looking for backline access now. A slow. No, yet the spray and pray, and will be a disengage so far. SKT, the re-engage, but he's tanky. It's not an easy kill to go for. And the flash forward. Bang wants to do it. He channels it underwhelmed, and he gets the kill. Uzi's dead. And without a carry, this could be the game just now. The flash forward. They found the second, a double for the Kog'Maw.
We see it once again. You can't get away from that Kog'Maw. Bang flashes forward, and now SK Telecom inside the base, looking to push this one to a game 5.
And Faker recalls to heal up and TP back here for the next wave. It's all about wave through then for RNG in the 3v5, but here comes the siege, looking for the turrets, looking to bring it to game number 5, and 5 men strong they look. There's the taunt, they're going for the kill first in a Xiao, who Huni joins in as well, and he does not have a way out. Bang gets his 3rd in a row. Now the turret's left to fall. Faker gets number 4, and there is no stopping them. Soraka is not going to heal a building. The stone will crumble. RNG will drop in game 4 as they continue to find a couple more kills for good measure.
No minion wave here, so it's buying a little bit of time. Ming will die as well. This should be the win for SKT. No SKT fan would have said build around Bang, but that's exactly what they did.
And the Uzi 1v5's knocking him out of the Nexus. Falls SKT! Bring us to game 5!
Step number 1 for SKT complete. They are now 8-0 in